Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your daily tarot and astrology reading for Wednesday, August 14th of 2024. Thanks so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. Of course, this video is for Hump Day, and I did just get done, well, a few hours ago, with this week's weekly astrology horoscope, the cosmic convergence, a challenge in perception. Definitely go check that out on my YouTube channel here. If you click on the live tab, it should come up. You're not going to want to miss it. This is a very important week in the astrology, so you're definitely going to want to check that one out. It's going to be a really pivotal week for real. Let's go ahead and hop into the cards and talk a little bit about the astrology, of course, so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate this hump day. I have the Knight of Bones, or the Knight of Wands in reverse. And of course, whenever I think of the Knight, I do think of an action. I think of action-oriented things. I think of moving things forward. Now, it's interesting. It shows like this kid that's riding on top of the Viper, and he's a red belt. And he's chilling. He's cool. You know, he's not afraid of the Viper or anything like that. Well, it's in reverse. So maybe we are afraid to get up on that Viper. Maybe we're afraid to get up on that horse. Maybe we are afraid to get up on that dragon. And, whatever. And that could be a metaphor for whatever challenges you're facing right now. And, feeling like the challenge is too big for you to handle. Well, this child, they're definitely doing the Leo thing, and they're just writing it without any worry or any fear or anything like that. The snake bears no ill will or any harm to this child. They're just writing it, and they're just writing it out, So that's where you kind of have to just put on, that Leo energy and stuff like that, and just be like, I'm gonna do it, no matter how big, no matter how intimidating something may be, I'm gonna go for it. So it's in reverse, so we may be a little bit shaky when it comes to that energy. I have that followed by the Prince of Gemstones, or the Page of Gemstones. This is the Cups in this deck, and that's also in reverse. I think the way that we kind of, get out of our own way and, step up to the challenge, step up to the plate here and not be afraid and have fun with it. This kid's having fun with it. But we kind of have to, not get overly emotionally attached to different things, to certain outcomes, to certain ideas. This is, like I said, the Page of Cups. So this is an individual that is very idealistic. They wear their heart on their sleeve. It shows in this image anyways. It shows an individual making like a necklace with this monkey and stuff like that, right? But like I said, this energy, this is in reverse too. So we want to just make sure that we're being careful, that we're not getting, too wrapped up in a feeling, especially if the feeling is fleeting, especially if the feeling is trying to go for some sort of quick response or some sort of quick dopamine hit or some sort of quick fix. This is definitely an energy where quick fixes are going to seem enticing, but they're not really going to actually yield the best results. Now, astrologically, of course, for today, we are going to see that moon here in Sagittarius, which does bring a lighter and jovial energy, but the only problem with this moon is that it makes a square to Venus all the way on the way to a mutable T-square with Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So I talked about this a lot in my weekly horoscope. So like I said, I definitely encourage you guys to check that out. But, the moon, if we're looking at the emotional realm, we're going to be a lot more focused on the more idealistic Sagittarius, big picture kind of deals. But Venus is looking at the details, right? Mars and Jupiter here, which are conjunct in Gemini, which is a major aspect, mind you, and they are squaring Saturn. This can definitely bring up some exciting, charismatic, explosive kind of energy because you have two fire planets in an air sign. So that's just going to cause an explosion because the air is going to feed the fire, if you will. but they're going to be squared by that Saturn. So it's all about your spirit. It's all about your spiritual integrity. It's all about, you know, the maturation with Saturn and Pisces. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't want to jump the gun here. It's like I'm going to use the example of, ironically, wine is Pisces, but it's like the wine that's been aging for 10, 15 years is going to be stronger and more potent than the wine that's been aging for like 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? So there's, and we have to kind of look at things like that. It's like, the tasks, the relationships, because like I said, this is Venus and Virgo still, right? And Venus and Virgo is about putting in the hard work in relationships. It's about the day to day. It's not Leo, it's not Pisces, it's not Taurus. Leo is like the glamour and the glitz and all that sort of stuff. Pisces is the dream and being in the pearl. And Taurus is sort of like, it's the value and stuff like that, but it is sort of like the finer things in life. It's the dates, it's the food and stuff. Venus and Virgo is like the chores. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's collecting the weed, and the moon squares this Venus beforehand. So it's like, we have to be able to kind of, from an emotional standpoint, the way they're going to be reacting or responding to, it's like within these relationships, what is sort of like that daily grind work that we're having to do that really does make a difference. And it's not like this quick fix energy. But when it does opposes Mars and Jupiter, that's going to be a rather charismatic, in your face, kind of explosive kind of energy. And this can also deal with, inflammatory language. This can deal with situations that go from 0 to 100 really, really quickly. And like I said, it's all in square to Saturn. So we get a mutable T-square with the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. You can say Venus is involved, even though it's still off by about 5 degrees, but it is still involved. It's going to be a rather intense day, and it's going to challenge your perceptions because this is the axis of perception with all this mutable energy. But like I said, the way that we get through this is by remaining in our spiritual integrity and by, standing on facts and also not allowing our emotions to get too much the better of us. And I think it's like we have to learn how to balance these things too. It's a balancing act that we're having to do on a day like today. So, so we'll see this pretty much this conjunction happening throughout the day, and the moon, sure, it will come off Saturn, because that's like more like in the middle part of the day. But then, of course, going into the evening, we're going to see a grand fire trine that starts to build up. It's not exact, but we do see it start to build up here with the moon is going to be trining the sun and Chiron. So it's sort of going to be like that reminder is like, hey, we kind of have to go back to a bit of that Leo energy too, because this does give me kind of Leo vibes, even though it's a snake. It's a child riding on a snake, so it's like they're conquering their fear. They don't even register the fear even. That's probably what it is. They're not even registering the fear, which is a bit of an advantage. It could be a disadvantage because it's sort of like if you don't have pain receptors and you get pierced by something, you don't feel it. That could be a detriment. But I think this is really about, we can be afraid of something or intimidated by something, but that doesn't mean that we can't step up to the plate, step up to the challenge. And it doesn't mean that we can't laugh and have fun with it either. It doesn't mean that we can't enjoy ourselves. And as far as the emotions, we gotta process our emotions. We gotta feel those emotions and stuff too. But we also don't want to make sure that we gotta make sure that we're not getting too caught up in a belief or an ideology or a fantasy that, is something that it's not. We don't want to be just saying one thing and it truly is not that thing. It's like eating a chocolate bar and saying, this is a stupid example, but it's like you're trying to you're eating a chocolate bar, but you're trying to convince yourself that you're eating broccoli, and you're just simply not. It's a chocolate bar. It's not broccoli. And that's a dumb example, but that's the one that I got for y'all. So, and of course, we're going to see Mercury retrograde back into Leo, and that's going to trigger, of course, the Yod with Neptune and Pluto. So Wednesday is definitely a hump day. It's definitely going to be intense. It's definitely going to be a bit edgy. There's going to be some interesting conversations that happen. I think the positive thing to a day like today is that if you have the ability to adapt and kind of know how to be mutable, you'll be able to navigate this. But if you get too fixated on a certain idea or a certain thought or a certain way of that it has to look like, you're not going to fare well with this kind of energy. But ultimately, we have to be like this kid on this snake. It's reversed, so we may feel a little bit shaken by it, but it's about, getting up on that snake, getting up on that horse, and not being afraid of writing this thing out. And that's really what it comes down to. I think we're kind of writing this thing out right now this week. Um, if you like I said, if you watch my weekly astrology horoscope, you'll see what I mean. Like somehow every single day is just intense. It's just intense. It's just intense, and it culminates into Tuesday, or it's just like it's still intense, but it's just like wow, like what in the world did we just go through? It's gonna feel like this is kind of one of those weeks where it may feel like a month is packed into a week, or like several months is packed into a week, because that's just how much stuff is happening. So final card of the day, I have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So that's actually one of my favorite cards in the deck. Ironically, it's the Eight of Drums in this deck, but it's talking about I call it the in the lab card. Doing the work, and doing the practice. What's interesting about this particular deck is that you have these individuals, and one of them's playing a song, one of them's doing a dance, and there's like an air spirit right there as well. So this could be, it looks like they're trying to at least summon her. Maybe they're trying to summon the rain, because it does kind of look like they're trying to bring about some rain and stuff like that. Maybe they're doing like a rain dance or something like that. But it is in reverse. So I think this is about, we have to kind of check to see, okay, what are the songs that have been playing in our life, in my life? What are the tunes that have been playing in my life? And with it being in reverse, there's probably something that's a little bit off. Maybe we got to tinker with the music a little bit. Maybe we're a little bit offbeat. Maybe that's what the Eight of Pentacles in reverse is saying. Maybe we're a little bit offbeat right now. We got to try and find our footing a little bit, so we're not as, we actually can get back on beat, if you will. But I think it's just kind of acknowledging the things that are kind of consistent right now, what has been going on, and kind of, tinkering with it, being mutable, being adaptable, and seeing what we might need to change or shift here and there to make things work. I think the best way that you do that is just by, looking at the things that are going well and appreciating those things. And I think also, of course, with the Venus and Virgo, what it's teaching us is there is beauty in doing the day-to-day work and the day-to-day grind, and there's beauty in the details that a lot of times we just want to kind of gloss over, or we always want to be big picture and stuff like that. We always want to be much more into the goal instead of the day-to-day, which may not seem like glamorous or exciting and stuff, but there's still an obvious importance there. So maybe today could be a day where you kind of get back on track. Maybe you get back on beat, and maybe you've been dancing to the wrong beat or whatever like that, or something like that, but now you kind of can get back on track and stuff too. So for the answer is Simple Oracle, I had the card Take a Breather, which is kind of interesting too. I don't think I've ever drawn this card in this deck, to be fair. I don't think I've ever drawn this card. But what's interesting too is that it is the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and that does talk about, doing the hard work and being in the office. And then you see these individuals that they're kind of chilling on the ground. They have the sickle there. They've been gathering all this wheat. There's still one person in the back too, though. That's an interesting thing. There's still one person in the back that's kind of still doing the work. So I guess the main thing is that remember to take time, try to slow things down. Like I said, the night is all about movement and action, but it's in reverse. So remember to kind of slow things down. Ask yourself, what are you afraid of? With the Knight of Pentacles, or Knight of Bones, Knight of Wands in reverse. Ask yourself with that Page of Cups in reverse, like, how am I feeling about this? Am I being overly emotionally attached to like a belief or an idea and what it looks like? And with the Eight of Pentacles, is like, okay, the scripts, the things that I've been running in my life, the songs, the beats and stuff, do they make sense? Can I dance with this? Can I flow with it? Can I find my flow? So, today's going to be a day where we kind of, we take a bit of a breather, Remember to relax today. Try not to go super fast because things are moving, things are shifting. There's a lot of energy right now, and with days like this, with weeks like this, it's important to, of course, get things done. It's also important to make sure that you're taking time to meditate on what's going on. That's going to do it, though, for your daily tarot and astrology reading. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. If you found this message at all helpful, definitely appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel here. But y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful hump day, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace.